What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Leafs goaltending depth. We've already done the forwards and we've done the defensemen. So if you haven't seen those videos, make sure to go and check those out. I would really appreciate that. I've been taking your guys' feedback and trying to put it into these videos. So hopefully it's a lot better zoomed in, and we can work on that as we film the videos to make sure that you guys are getting the best quality all the time. And if you are new to this channel and you do enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad, trying to get to 10,000 subscribers before the year ends. So yeah, let's try to do that. But yeah, we're going to be looking at the Leafs goaltending depth because I've mentioned it with the forwards and I've mentioned it with the defense. The Leafs overall depth has gotten much better this offseason. A lot of the problems that the Leafs had last year was that when they would run into an injury or they'd run into a problem in their forward group, if somebody wasn't performing, or if, God forbid, one of your stars, in this case, Freddie Anderson, if he was to get injured, who's going to replace those games? Or if he's not playing so well, who's going to step in and play some games, and who's going to be the backup if that goaltender isn't ready to go? You need to have the opportunity in the organization to be able to back yourself up with as many options as possible. Last year, the Leafs had Freddie Anderson. I believe they started the season also, obviously, with Michael Hutchinson, who has since returned, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And him and Hutchinson were not very good. They just weren't. And it's unfortunate because I do like Hutchinson. He's a good guy. I've actually personally met him. But he just wasn't the fit if Freddie Anderson wasn't going to be playing in games. They also had, a couple years ago, they had Garrett Sparks. It just didn't work out. And their goaltending depth has been jumbled around. But since Campbell came in, okay, good. That's good. You have a solid starter and a solid backup, Freddie and Campbell. But then after that, if something was to happen to them, like I said, there wasn't really much. They had Kasimir Kaskisuo. When he played, he got absolutely fed. He got scored on so many times, but I mean, he wasn't ready to be in the NHL yet. Then you had to go and look at your other goaltenders like Woll and Ian Scott. They just weren't ready, and they aren't ready yet. They haven't played in games, but they aren't ready to play in NHL games or to be a backup or even really to be a third string goaltender if something were to happen. So you needed to bring in NHL caliber goaltending to play as your third or fourth guy, because now there's no excuses. You have the depth, you have the goaltending, and you need to make sure that you're in a position to win every single night, no matter who is the starter and the backup. You're comfortable with who is in the net. Now, I'm going to bring it up right now, my display capture, as I've been doing. Now, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys. But as we can see here, this is what the goaltending depth will look like now. Of course, it's not necessarily in order or anything like that, but Freddie Anderson is your starter, clear as day. Then you have Jack Campbell, which is very good. Then the Leafs brought in Aaron Dell, nice little $800K contract. He is basically going to be used as the third string guy. And again, with the opportunity this season, potentially with another bubble, or with a ton of different rule changes, because guys, the NHL is going to be so different this upcoming season because the situation that the world's going through right now isn't getting any better. It's not changing. It's getting worse. So the NHL could be going into next season with expanded rosters. There's going to be a ton of different rules that we will go through as they come out. But there's an opportunity to bring more goaltending. Well, you're probably bringing Aaron Dell along, so you have three guys right there. And Aaron Dell's not bad. We'll get into his numbers in a second. Michael Hutchinson, this is probably going to be used for the expansion draft. Once we get closer to that, we will be talking more about it. But a lot of people were freaking out. Michael Hutchinson is more than likely not going to see a game this year for the Toronto Maple Leafs. All three of these guys, Freddie, Campbell, and Dell, are going to be the guys playing. If there's an injury or something like that, Aaron Dell will come in. But Freddie and Jack Campbell are going to be the guys playing the games, and then Aaron Dell, and then Michael Hutchinson. And he was signed to a two-way deal, so he's going to be with the Marlies as their starting goaltender, and he's going to be working with Joseph Woll and Ian Scott if he does get that opportunity. So please stop freaking out about literally everything. Michael Hutchinson has zero effect on the NHL roster. All it's saying is that there's more depth. Now you have 4 NHL caliber goaltenders as your depth. Then you have the guys that you're working on grooming, and Ian Scott and Joseph Woll. And then, of course, the new draft pick, Archer I can't say his name, no disrespect. I just don't want to be disrespectful by mispronouncing his name. But this was a draft pick, I believe, that the Leafs drafted this year, 2001. That's crazy to me. I was born in '96, so kind of crazy. But this right here is a good amount of goaltending. It's a good depth chart. So just looking at the numbers, we'll get into Freddie Andersen here. So last year, he didn't really have a good year. It was statistically his worst as a Toronto Maple Leaf. Played in 52 games, played 285 goals against average, and he had a .909 save percentage with 3 shutouts. Now, these numbers aren't terrible, but for the Leafs to be like basically certified 100% a playoff team, you'd like it to be at a .915. The goals against can probably be around 2.6. You're probably okay at 2.67. Like these numbers here, like his first year in Toronto, those are the numbers that the Leafs would really like. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background, but these are the numbers that Toronto would really like to have. 918, 267. If he's sitting around a 915 even and a 2.7, those numbers aren't bad. Like a 917, 277, not too bad. But the Leafs would like this number to get better. And with a better blue line, the Leafs have upgraded this year with better depth. I mean, collectively, they should be able to get that number to a better number. Now, moving on here to Jack Campbell. He's actually put up some pretty good numbers last year with the Leafs. He only got into 6 games, but he had a 915 and a 2.63. So if he can just continue to be around this range, I mean, the Leafs are going to be laughing if you have 2 goalies in that range. Even if he's a 910, you know, it's a few points, but it really does matter. The Leafs need this type of goaltending. With LA, this team was terrible, and he still had pretty good numbers. So I'm actually very, optimistic about what Jack Campbell can do. These were his numbers total last season. If he could bump this up a little bit, I'm not too worried about the goals against average, but if he can bump that save percentage a little bit, then the Leafs are going to be very happy with their duo. And I am a big fan of Jack Campbell. I think he's pretty solid. I mean, look at like some of these numbers that he's put up. Like 31 games played with LA, 928 and a 230 goals against. Like these are not like 31 games. He's capable of playing that much on a team that's not good and put up these numbers. Jack Campbell is a very good goaltender, and he is capable of taking 25 games this year and hopefully giving the Leafs the solid goaltending. I don't even need this 928. Would I love it? Of course I would. But this 915 and 2.63 would be absolutely golden for the Leafs if Freddie Andersen's not playing so hot. But I think that these two will do very good this season. Now, let's talk about Aaron Dell here. Now, his numbers aren't going to wow you. They're not going to knock your socks off. 33 games played last year. These numbers aren't so great, but I mean, San Jose was not a good team last year, and their team defense is pretty horrible. So, with the Leafs upgrading their blue line, Aaron Dell probably won't get into a ton of games, and it won't really matter too much, but it will help him a little bit. With better teams, he's capable of putting up better numbers as well. I mean, you can see here in a decent sample size, he's putting up some pretty decent numbers there. And then the last couple of years in San Jose haven't gone so hot. Like I said, they're just overall, they were not playing so well, and their team defense isn't so great. But this doesn't matter too much. Aaron Dell is brought in as just a security blanket if the Leafs need some guy with experience. He's 31. Campbell and Freddie are going to take over the crease most nights, and we won't have to really worry about it. But I like this addition just because it is depth, and again, you do need that. Now, Michael Hutchinson. Okay, a lot of people don't like him. Yes, he was very not good with the Toronto Maple Leafs last year. But, when he did come to Toronto in that very small sample size in 5 games, those numbers aren't too bad. 264 and a 914. He obviously with Toronto didn't play so well after in 15 games, 3.66 and an 886. In one game, obviously you can't really say too much. It's one game. Those numbers are inflated because it's one game. But then in the playoffs, I mean, he didn't look too bad. 910 and a 275. Those are good numbers. But again, he's the 4th string goaltender on this team. This was an expansion draft type of move, and we'll get to that later on. But yeah, he's probably either not going to be a Maple Leaf after this season, or he's just going to be the Marlies starting goaltender or backup, helping the young guys get better. Because regardless of what you think, I mean, Hutchinson's 30. He has NHL experience. he has had some seasons with decent numbers, and he's definitely just going to be a guy to help mentor some of these other goaltenders. So nothing too crazy, but the Leafs have depth. Again, bringing you back here, this is just much better than before. It's depth, and that's what the Leafs need. They need options. They can't just be relying on, oh, if our, we've got Freddie and Campbell, so nothing else matters after that because they're in the lineup, who cares? No, you need to have guy after guy after guy after guy to make sure that your team has the best chance to win any given night. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. Let me know what you guys think about the Leafs goaltending depth, and leave me your thoughts down below. Are the Leafs going to upgrade on their goaltending? I don't think so. Do you like the depth? Trades, anything like that? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear it. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.